We have the England squad for the Six Nations 2025, and in news that will surprise precisely nobody, Steve Borthwick has kept it pretty much the same. I mean, not known for being too maverick in his selections. He's kept it fairly conservative. However, in the few changes he has made, in the little bit of tinkering that he has done, some significant moves well worth talking about. That's what I want to get into on this video. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. Leave your comments down below, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. The biggest bit of news to come out of this England squad: England have a new skipper. Maro Itoje is captain. Now that is significant and I think a big positive. As much as anything, because when you look at the stats from 2024, Maro Itoje is a player who, well, not only is an automatic selection, he's back close to his best in the way he's playing. He had a brilliant 2024, even in a team that was underperforming. But secondly, he plays 80 minutes every game. And for a captain, that's massive. One player that, unless he's injured, can start the game and finish the game, building that rapport with the referee, having a feel for the match, being a focal point for a team. That's massive. Particularly when you think about it, England are a team that have lost games narrowly, quite often losing the lead late in games. Your captain being on the field for 80 is big. So Jamie George is a great player. He's going to start for England at hooker, but he will be coming off after, say, 50 minutes. And now we don't have to worry about starting the whole process with a captain again when he goes off. Maybe England even won't need to select 17 vice-captains in their matchday squad. We can just name one, because we've got this guy that we can rely on as skipper. As for the squad, 36 names announced, 24 with 16 backs, and the eye-catching selections among them. Tom Willis is in. Hallelujah. A form player, an out-and-out number 8, and will he get the start in the Six Nations? That's the next big question. Caden Murley as well is the other eye-catching selection, in for Emmanuel Faye-Waboso. Murley, who's been so close, he's been in a load of England squads, never got a debut. Will he get his first cap? We will see about that. Possibly against Wales or Italy. I'm not convinced he'll be starting, but I'll come on to my squad. I'm going to go through the squad position by position, because this is quite hard to dissect, and then I will pick what I think, and to an extent would like to be, the 23-man squad for England, for the Six Nations. I invite you to do the same in the comments down below. Other players that are in: Oscar Beard, Fraser Dingwall, Joe Hayes, Bevan Rodd. Players that are out: Dan Cole, Trevor Davison, and probably most surprising of all, Ben Spencer. Now, there's other players that people were clamouring to be in. Players like George Hendy, who I even mentioned when I did this video on the squad that I would like to see last week. Players like Henry Pollock. The one thing I think that is said a bit too much by fans about the England squad is we need to get the youngsters in to get them experience. As I've said a bunch of times on recent videos, England have a really, really young squad. This group of players, for the most part, are going to go right through to Australia in 2027. In fact, I cannot think of a player in this current squad who will not be a potential England player at the 2027 World Cup. The age profile of the England team is really good. It's under, their average age in matches recently has been around or even under 26. One of the youngest in international rugby. So I don't feel the need at the minute to get Henry Pollock in. I think that England A, for this Six Nations, get players like that on the summer tour while the British and Irish Lions is on, and then 2026, maybe, might be their time. But I'm generally pretty happy with this. Let me take you through it position by position then, because it's quite hard to dissect, as I say. And I'll compare my predictions and what I hoped last week when I did the video on the England squad with the reality. And loosehead prop, Finn Baxter and Ellis Genge, fine, but with no Joe Marler anymore, retired from rugby, I wanted Beno Obano. As it's panned out, the man that's got that third spot in the loosehead prop position is Bevan Rodd, who, in fairness to Bevan Rodd, absolutely marmalised the great Frans Malherbe at the weekend. He did such a job on Frans Malherbe playing for Sale against the Stormers that Malherbe got a yellow card and went off. Admittedly, the guy that came on then gave Bevan Rodd quite a tough time of it, but a double World Cup winner, he had him in his back pocket. Maybe that might have been the tipping point why Bevan Rodd is in and Beno Obano isn't. I do feel sorry for Beno Obano, but no great complaints there. I did suggest that maybe Gabriel Ogre should be in at hooker position or might have done enough to oust Theo Dan, but no surprises whatsoever that it's the same three, Luke Cowan-Dickie and Theo Dan backing up now vice-captain Jamie George. Tight head prop. I predicted Dan Cole would be out and Asher Opoku Fajor would be in. That is correct. What I didn't predict is that Trevor Davison would also drop out and Joe Hayes comes in his place. When I did do that video last week about the England squad or what I would like for the England squad, what I predict, there were quite a few comments saying, don't forget about Joe Hayes, he's playing really well this year. And he has played for England before and never totally convinced me, but he was young and he is maturing at a rate and has, in fairness, put in some dominant performances for Leicester this year. So can he transfer that to England? I guess the big question is, who's going to be on the bench with Will Stewart starting? Not sure which one it will be, Hayes or Opoku Fajor, we will see. Second row, it's the four that I hoped would be the four. Charlie Ewels is out. Nick Ezekwe is rehabbing currently, so not available. No idea whether he would have been in. I suspect he may have been. Steve Borthwick seems to like Nick Ezekwe. But it's Alex Coles and Ollie Chesham alongside the pair that will be starting second row, you'd assume, George Martin and captain Maro Itoje. Back row, I wanted Tom Willis in. I wanted Ted Hill in. I've got that wish, so I'm very happy with the back row. Sam Underhill being injured is a big blow, and I think, and I wonder if Sam Underhill's injury is the reason why Alex Dombrandt is still in the England squad. And I know that's a strange thing to say because Sam Underhill's a 7, Alex Dombrandt's an 8, but now you've got two out-and-out 8s there, Tom Willis and Alex Dombrandt. I think that means Steve Borthwick is considering Ben Earl as a 7, as he plays for Saracens with Tom Willis at 8. Maybe that's the way it's going to go for England. We will see. But with the Curry twins, with Chandler Cunningham South as well, that's a pretty stacked back row. So I've got no problem with waiting a year for Henry Pollock, giving him a go in the summer and see how he goes, putting him in the A side. There's plenty of time for him. And that is a quality bunch of back rowers. Outstanding, in fact. As for scrum half, I thought that the three would be Alex Mitchell back and the main man, backed up by Harry Randall and Ben Spencer. I feel sorry for Ben Spencer. He's out. I think that... Do you think that's his England... Well, no, I'll never say his England career is done because one injury and it all changes. Just ask Alex Mitchell about that. He wasn't picked in the World Cup squad. An injury to Jack Van Portfleet. He's in and now he's the England number 1. Sliding doors moment. But Jack Van Portfleet being in and Ben Spencer being out, with the age Ben Spencer's at now, you kind of wonder whether that might be a message about how that's going. I don't have a major problem with that. So I think that other people feel like that's more of a grievance against Ben Spencer than I do. I really like Harry Randall. Jack Van Portfleet I think is very good. I think Ben Spencer, oddly, is the guy that can do more things better. Harry Randall, though, is just amazing as a running sniping 9, and Jack Van Portfleet is the best box kicker of the lot, tactical kicker, as well as being able to do a bit of the running. So I think that might be why the three of them are the choices. 3 fly halves, George Ford back in, no surprise there. Centres, I wonder whether... I didn't think Alex Lazowski would drop out, as he has done, and I thought I wasn't convinced by Luke Northmore, so I suggested Seb Atkinson. As it is, it's Oscar Beard that comes in for Luke Northmore, his Harlequins teammate. Fraser Dingwall is back in, who is an out-and-out 12, so I'm good with that. And Alex Lazowski dropping out, I suppose... Not good news. It's not good news for Alex Lazowski because he would want to make an impact for England. But he is still Italy qualified. And he's 31, I believe. He's now not in the England squad. Does that mean he's free to go and play for the Azzurri? And does he now finally call time on his England ambitions? Maybe he should. No problems with that as a centre partnership. Looks like it's going to be Slade and Lawrence as the centres for the Six Nations. And the back three, I wanted Caden Murley in for the injured Emmanuel Faye-Waboso. George Furbank was injured. And I also thought maybe with Elliot Daly not being used in November, George Furbank out, maybe both of them, maybe drop Elliot Daly if you're not going to use him, and George Hendy perhaps would come in. Joe Carpenter could have been another option. As it is, Caden Murley is in for Faye-Waboso, but Daly stays. So... I have no problem with that. I actually really like Elliot Daly. The versatility of him, he's got so much experience. And this is a really young crop of back three players. Those wingers are young and incredibly talented. and you've got someone very experienced in Elliot Daly, who's played in 2 Rugby World Cup, World Cup final and a semi-final. I've got no problem with him being there, and I think his inclusion might be significant because when I look at the England team that I predict we might see in the Six Nations in Dublin, I think Elliot Daly, or it could be Oscar Beard, will be on the bench because that allows a 6-2 split. This is what I predict might happen. There are some positions I'm less confident on than others. The front 5, that's going to be the England front 5, isn't it? Genge, George and Stewart as the front row. George Martin and captain Maro Itoje in the second row. And Ben Earl is definitely going to be in the back row. The other 2 positions I'm not 100% sure on. I would like Tom Willis to be the starting number 8. I don't think it'll be Alex Dombrandt. And probably, I would guess Chandler Cunningham South would be starting on the blindside flank. I might go for Ollie Chesham there, but because Ollie Chesham can play second row, that might be a reason why you actually just keep him on the bench. So he can cover those positions. Cunningham South can just go and empty the tank, and Chesham will play best part of half a game anyway, coming on early in the second half. Whether Ben Earl starts at number 8 and moves to 7 during the game, or whether he starts at 7 and moves to 8 during the game, I think Ben Earl will play 80 minutes. Tom Willis will either be starting or on the bench, but either way, you allow yourself a 6-2 split, which plays into the strengths that England have in their back row area. That's where they are stacked the most. That's where there's the biggest competition for places, even more so when Sam Underhill gets back and fit. And so with the players that you've got, why not take advantage of that? And with a player like Elliot Daly, and this might be why he's still in the squad, with a player like Elliot Daly, you can do that. Because one of the issues that happened in the final, which game was it? The South Africa game. In the South Africa game in the November tests, George Ford was on the bench but did not play because Marcus Smith got the full 80 minutes, which I think everyone understands. But if Marcus Smith is going to get the full 80 minutes, why waste a bench spot on a replacement fly half, be that Finn Smith or George Ford? Why not, when you've got Henry Slade, who's played lots of minutes at fly half this season for Exeter Chiefs, really, really good player. If Marcus Smith gets injured, which is probably unlikely, but if that happened and he does, Henry Slade, you'd feel confident stepping up to 10 for the rest of that game. And then you've got Elliot Daly that can play in at 13. You've got Tommy Freeman that could step in at 13. Oscar Beard, if he's the number 23, he could step in at centre. So you're covered there. And if there was an injury to fullback, well, you could either have Tommy Freeman step into 15 if Oscar Beard was the replacement, or Daly can go straight in. He's a proven international fullback. So I just think it's a no-brainer. With the players that England have got and the area of strength they have got, particularly in the back row, 6-2 split with the versatility of a guy like Daly. And it also means Marcus Smith is going to play the whole game so long as he stays fit. Those are my thoughts. I'm pretty happy with the squad. I wasn't expecting anything other than what we got. I wasn't expecting a new captain, but in terms of the squad, I was not expecting major changes. One player here or there we can disagree on. I think Sam Underhill would have been in and maybe Alex Dombrandt out if he was fit. But generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with that. And I am ever optimistic about England. It's the hope that kills you. But actually, I don't think we've been that far off. And with Alex Mitchell back in, with Ollie Chesham back, I think those are some significant additions to this England squad for the Six Nations. Not saying England are going to win the Six Nations, but I think they're going to be very competitive. And I think they've got a shot in Dublin, and bring it on. The other squads are going to be announced in due course, so I'll be covering those off, of course. Hit subscribe on the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave your comment down below. I'll see you on the next one.